Church. Welcome back to pada-Nya podcast, equipping all generations to become Christ ambassadors. Today, you're gonna have your host, me, Natalia, with my partner,
Hola.
Corey, and we will have another narasumber ya, Korea.
Yep.
Topik kita hari ini, aku, Corey, dan narasumber kita akan membahas tentang Christian leadership, right? Mungkin dari Corey sendiri nih, have you ever thought kayak kamu sendiri kan udah jadi co-leader ya, before you come into that being a co-leader, kamu pernah nggak sih mikir kayak, aduh kayaknya aku nggak bisa deh jadi leader di community service. What did you think before?
Ya of course sih, kayak sampai sekarang aja kadang tuh yang mikir, gila kok gue bisa ya jadi leader ya gitu. Jadi I think I wasn't ready back then.
Yeah, mungkin aku juga banyak dengar teman-teman aku juga kan kayak apalagi kamu changes from one not being a leader and then you have to lead a flock of people gitu kan, and then am I ready for this? Can I speak in front of a lot of people gitu kan, kita harus sharing juga. Nah, kita hari ini mau ngomongin mostly about that, kayak gimana sih caranya can we lead a group of people tapi secara Christian gitu. And now today kita kedatangan salah satu leader di praise and worship di BIC. His name is Koedo. Maybe
Hello.
you can introduce yourself.
For the podcast listener, I'm here. My full name is, fun fact, not Edo.
Okay.
It's my nickname, or people say
yeah.
it's a stage name, but obviously it's not. My
stage
name is
name.
Reynaldo Ali, but a lot of people are familiar with Koedo or Edo. So I'm here invited by the podcast team, and it's very an honor coming here and try to share my little bit of my life's perspective, especially on what you guys call as a leadership, and then how we can help each of us ya, sama-sama juga ya, nggak cuman maksudnya kita semua di sini belajar, and especially buat pendengar, and then the people who watching at home or wherever they are, it could be in train right now. Hey, stay safe.
Yeah. But it's so great to have you here, Ko.
Yes.
Ko, do you know kayak sekarang tuh yang ngerasa there's this debate going on for such a long time. And is leadership something that you can learn? Is it a skill that can be learned, or is it a talent that you're born with it? What's your take on that?
Talent. Let's think about an example. Leadership itu tujuannya apa? Mungkin kalau let's take a step back and then asking, when you become a leader or when you appointed to, here's the important, very, very important keyword, appointed to, because 9 out of 10, whether you like it or not, being the 1 out of 10, it's a very rare occasions where they put their hands up and hey, I want to be a leader. Hey, let me be a leader. So 9 out of 10 people are actually appointed, or whether through a promotions or they were just appointed in a certain circumstances or scenario, right? So asking about having a talent or not, I think it's a secondary questions, because a lot of us pigeonholed this leadership into something, a set of skill sets rather than a role or a way of doing stuff. Because in my opinion, leadership is more about a role that you're doing. Doesn't matter whether you have the skill sets yet or not, right? There are a lot of examples in the Bible that we can talk about later, but so back to the original questions, when you say, are you born with it? Is it a talent or not? I don't think that's the main questions that we need to ask. The most important thing is knowing the purpose of being a leader, right? Knowing the purpose of leader and understanding first what is the meaning of leadership or being a leader. Very, very interesting take that I had while preparing about this podcast, right? Because I want to make sure I'm saying the right things, but at the end of the day, I know this is my perspective and my experience, right? We have to understand when we say we are a leader, in simple, right? When you're a leader, meaning you're leading a group of people to somewhere. I think that's what's very, very basic foundations, rather than trying to, do I have it? Or do I born with it? Or can I learn to be it? No. I think let's forget about all of that. When you're appointed or when you're in a leader position, the first question that you should ask yourself, do you understand where are you leading these people to? So that's my take initially. And what do you think?
So in simple terms, what you mean is kayak semua orang berarti mau nggak mau di dalam kehidupannya bakal jadi a leader at some point.
Yes, in a way that it's a very interesting point that you mentioned, because leadership doesn't always have to be president.
Yeah.
Being a leader doesn't have always to be a senior pastor of a church. Doesn't have to be a prime minister.
Yeah.
Somebody at some point in their life, they're leading someone or leading a group of maybe a few people. The question is, if you're leading your son or your daughter, your own biological son or daughter, to the target of the goal, you like it or not, you're already a leader, right? So a lot of time we unconsciously already leading people to somewhere. So the point that you brought up is almost like a reverse engineering it. Maybe let's not talk about whether you were born with it or not. Maybe let's ask yourself, have you led someone to do something before? Have you brought somebody to do a certain goal before? If you have,
then that means you're
congratulations, you're a leader. You like it or not?
I see.
Right?
Very interesting. Dari cara Koko ngomong aja nih udah sangat berkarisma, sangat aduh kenceng gitu, kayak you can actually lead a flock. I bisa ngeliat you kayak hey, terus orang-orang pada ngikutin Koko gitu.
Let me drink for some nervous.
Jadi since we're at the topic of that, mungkin para pendengar nih belum tahu Koko tuh siapa sih sebenarnya? Like, who do you lead? Are you a leader yourself? And can you share a little bit of that?
Sure. Building up from the point that we just discussed here earlier, so it's a very well. Now I have so many answers to that questions, right? which part of my leader that you're trying to that we are trying to bring to this podcast, right? But I know what you're after is because I am a coordinator and a leader of a music department in BIC, which is still under the praise and worship ministry. And shout out to Chijes, because that's the my fellow leader that I'm leading with in the praise and worship ministry. Okay. So I'm on the music department specifically. Okay. But I do lead other stuff too, right? Okay. Not just school. Maybe I lead some other people. Well, I lead my wife. I lead my future son. You know, and likewise, right? Maybe my wife has led me to somewhere too. So it doesn't mean that I'm always I'm her leader. Yeah. No, so, not necessarily, right?
Yeah. It doesn't need to be an organization.
Correct. It doesn't have to be a here you go, self-titled, you're a leader. You know, it's not an official given title. It's more like an assumed role.
I agree.
Right? Yeah. And you reflect back, right? Well, Cory and
now I'm already thinking like,
I have led these people to somewhere, you know. You have done
like,
it, right?
Unconsciously, I was.
Kalau kayak gitu, boleh nggak kau ceritain sedikit? Okay, in terms of when you talk about you are now the praise and worship leader kan, gimana tuh prosesnya, kayak were you approached by someone atau Koko yang actually you know what, mungkin ada audisi, not audition sih, apa ya gimana bilangnya, mungkin kayak dibilang kita lagi butuh nih kayak recruitment gitu, and then you like come up and maybe I can be gitu.
Sure, this is very as I mentioned before. Fun fact, I'm one of the 10 that I came up to them and say, hey, I want to be a leader. Jokes. Obviously, that's not the case. Unfortunately, I'm part of the 9 out of 10. The majority, not the minority, right? So I was never put my hands up and say, Susan, you know what? Let me be a leader, because I'm so longing to lead these people, become their leader and become their boss. Reflect that for a sec. That's very awkward to hear, right? Yeah. That's why I'm saying it's 9 out of 10. People don't do that. When you hear a story of a testimony from a pastor, maybe we should ask our pastor Daniel, our senior pastor, or even other pastors that you know in your life. Most of the time, the answer that I always receive is, I've never thought that I'm gonna be a leader or rather a pastor for this church. God never. I don't know if I didn't know that God called me to this. Notice the word call, we'll discuss it about more later. Most of them, they say, I was working full-time, doing some other job, whether it's in a bank, in a company, in a firm, happy, thought to be someone, came to me, and then, you want to be, long story short, become a pastor. Not a 9 out of 10, maybe now 9.5 out of 10. The first answer and response always, not yes. Not yes. I'm not saying no, but typically their answer is always not yes, because not ready. I'm afraid of what's coming. Not sure. So with my scenario, that falls under that category, right? At that time, the situations, I wasn't promoted from a standard musicians become a leader, because it's not about that. It was more in need and of the situations at that time that we need some kind of form of a role to lead this group of people. But this is going to be the first time released to the public. Fun fact, when I was first approached, the discussion wasn't, oh, can you be a leader of this music department in Praise and Worship Ministry? The question was, oh, can you please help to coordinate the roster?
I see.
So that's different, right?
Yeah.
But then think about it for a sec. Before we having this conversation, maybe some of us would have thought, oh, coordinating a roster or schedule is not really a leader, is it?
Yeah.
But based on what I just said earlier, it is already leading.
Okay.
Right? Because you're leading these people to at least follow your guide on this rostering, that you have been entrusted that this is balanced, without going into a very technical bit on what does it mean, what is it actually mean having a balanced roster, right? So that was the first promise or first approach, right? And I was like, at the time, I'm sure. I mean, well, sorry, I didn't answer sure straight away. I said, let me think about it. Not that naive. Let me think about it, and I'll see. And I have the heart that at the end of the day, it's not about what I am doing specifically, but I want to serve in the church. I want to serve the ministry, and God has put that door in front of me, and I prayed about it. And then next minute, I know they never approached me, and they never followed up that, hey, now you pass your roster scheduling, now you should move on to become the main coordinator. So that never happened. And I think everybody just like, yeah, you know what, whatever. Just do it and keep doing it.
I see.
Not in a bad way, but obviously that was the start.
Okay.
That was the start. And then, yes, I'm the majority of people, like most of us. Okay. And hopefully this is an encouragement for everybody that listened. This episode of podcast, that, you know, don't be afraid, and don't be scared
to take on leadership role.
That leads to our next question, Nico. You already told us, like, I think at least 9 out of 10 they're gonna say like, wait a second, wait a minute, gitu kan. Karena there are still fears, there are still doubts in their minds. Kayak mereka, they don't think they're good enough to basically guiding people, gitu loh. Do you, in your own opinion, right? Why do you think you, me, Corey, and mungkin pendengar juga, why do you think we still feel that way?
I think the short answer is, watch out, it's going to be long. Short answer is because a lot of people fixated on the fact being a leadership is skill sets based, what we discussed before. And then they automatically goes to their brain, I do not have this, all the checklists, the boxes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have experience. I don't have typically, right? Public speakings. I don't know how to persuade people. I don't know how to negotiate. The list keeps going on, right? Yeah. So I think, and then out of that, I'm already untake. I think that's the first thing that came to people, because they're self-assessing. They're becoming aware and suddenly become vulnerable. Hence, the answer is typically always not sure. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Sure, right?
But I think it's fair though, karena to be a leader, sometimes you watch someone being a leader first, right? And then you watch that leader and you look at them and they're like, oh, mereka jago banget ngomong, mereka jago public speaking, and then you look back to yourself and you're like, kayak gue gak akan bisa kayak gitu deh gitu. So I think it is a fair assumption of them to think that way in the first place.
Correct. And I think I agree. I'm not dismissing the fact that the leadership comes with a skill set that you need to build or you need to develop, but doesn't mean you always need to have it from the beginning.
Correct.
That's the point though.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're having these first priorities of public speaking, all whatever that related to the leadership. But in fact, when you're actually doing a role of leadership, there are a lot of other stuffs that maybe some people are very good at public speaking, but they're lacking on the others.
Makes sense.
Vice versa. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, then we should all ponder question of, when will we ever be fit then? Until which list that we're gonna take that we can get into? Are we gonna present it to the one that talking to us?
Yeah.
Or do we gonna print out this? If you ask me honestly, I don't even know how to come up with the list, right? All we know is the stereotypical leaderships, what I just listed, right? But then let's have a look at this example that I suddenly remember, right? Moses in the Bible. If I remember correctly, he didn't have it.
Yeah.
No.
He didn't have it either, did he?
Yeah.
He always said, I don't know, I'm not ready. Not just not ready. I'm not ready because I couldn't this. I couldn't that.
Yep.
I feel like I'm lacking.
Yeah.
Right. I remember. I have it on my cheat notes here, so I'm not like having it all in my memory because I don't want to quote the wrong verse. Yeah. Okay. We don't have to open our Bible, but as a reference, I think in Exodus 4. That's where the story of Moses, right? If you allow me to read a little bit here from my notes. In essence, when God appoints someone to be a leader, I believe he doesn't call the perfect one because in fact there is none of the perfect one. He calls it, we come with the heart and he will equip it, right? That's what's the saying? God doesn't, you know which one I'm talking about? God doesn't call the, what's the quote? God equips those he calls.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's what we're trying to say to answer the questions of it is fair that you're assessing that you don't have this. My point is that shouldn't be the make or break for you taking the role or doing the role. Because like I mentioned in our previous examples before, there are a lot of roles that you already assume as a leadership. Sometimes you had to do it without having to assess whether you have it all of this or not.
Yeah.
It becomes difficult when people make it too formal, right? Hey, Corey, hey, Nat, do you want to be a leader? Then you start assessing. But
when
most
they
of
put
the
a
time,
label on
I
it.
know, right? But
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of the time, you have done it without people asking and self-assessing. You be all right. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'll not fake it till you make it, but
Yeah.
then it's more. I'll let it flow.
Got
And
it.
we as a Christian,
Yeah.
it should be even easier, quote unquote, for us because we do not trust our skills. We do not trust we as a human, but we trust the one who calls, right? It's not about the calling itself. You may don't have full trust of the ministry that you're offered with or the leadership role in a which specific sector that you're offered with, but it's more about who actually give the ultimate call, right? Well, not Jisusan, but you know what I'm talking about? It's the ultimate call, right? Yeah. So that is the sort of see, it's long, right? Not short, but that was a short version answer of the questions all about the skill sets and then not prepared, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we've already talked about Moses, one of the leaders that he wasn't even ready, right?
Yeah.
And then he had those long of excuses as well when he was talking to God. And now I feel like, so I think I did that too.
Yeah, of course.
Relatable, very
it's
relatable.
really
And then I think
relatable,
it's okay to acknowledge that.
It's okay not to be okay.
Yes,
That's what they say.
One of those, And you also mentioned, there are lots of characters in the Bibles yang mereka juga dipanggil Tuhan, mereka juga nggak perfect juga gitu. Ketika dipanggil Tuhan, they're not like fully, what can I say? Maybe I can give one example like Paul. He wasn't even like full Christian before. Dia
He was
bahkan
called,
kayak, he put Stephanus to death, right? He wasn't perfect, but God still calls him. Dan it reflects a lot juga untuk kita yang mungkin masih hesitant to say yes. Tapi aku ngerti banget in ways like I know like my previous school leaders do the same thing to me, like do this one first, dikit-dikit. Terus nanti pas I say I don't, wait a minute, I don't think I'm ready. Dan mereka kayak, tapi kamu udah gini. That's I think that's one of the way.
A lot of time itu I think kita orang-orang kita, especially as Christians, we have faith. We are faith-based religion and very strong Jesus Christ that we believe that calls us. I think a lot of times itu kita, I think it is very humane to be afraid and nervous karena that's an emotional things that is given to us ya. But kita harus reflect back lagi namanya sama faith kita itu loh. Yang kemana siapa yang kasih kita. Maybe the challenge is, this is super twist, right? Challenge is maybe find us character in the Bible. Tadi kan you talk about Paul ya, Nat. Kan ada juga yang lain-lain ya. Banyak kan leader kan. Ya. Maybe the challenge is maybe find me or find us rather a character in the Bible yang dimana in which he is perfect and he's called.
I don't think
he was called. No. So all the biblical, or maybe if there is one, if there's one, somebody gonna fact check us. Okay, all right. If there was one, somebody gonna fact check us.
Unless
please,
there's one.
Is it? There's a comment sections. Is it? Get them to.
There's one.
So disclaimer: if there was one,
there's one.
Or two, tell us. But the point remains, though.
Yeah.
A lot the proofs, biblical proofs is there. A lot of the examples we know. We put our hands on our heart. Typically, it's our doubts as a human. We just don't want to release that full faith. Being very faithful to God. I think most of us already know the answer. This episode should just be an encouragement. Should be an affirmation that you know it, and then this is giving a scenario and testimony from someone that has been on your shoes before. Maybe not exactly the same. Maybe you have different brand of shoes, but the idea conceptually is there. I have talking about Moses, right? I think a very important building up from what you were saying about we didn't have the skill sets in the beginning, but we may grow and develop it, right? Which is I think important. If you are actually called being a leader, and then you have the heart, right? Remember, beginning is all about the heart, because at the end of the day, we are discussing of those people who are afraid and scared to take that step. But if you're telling me, I don't want to be a leader anyway, well, maybe you're in the wrong episodes. It's a joke, but the point is we're not discussing about that. What we're discussing is someone who knows the role and then they want to step in and they're afraid. And about the skill sets itself, have you ever thought that maybe God calls those people in the Bible, like Moses and other characters, who didn't have the skill sets in the beginning, because God wants them to rely on God. Right? It gives them the full opportunity to be not self-dependent. And acknowledging that they are vulnerable, meaning they don't have the power, they don't have the capacity to perform the duty. It means there is no other choices but to rely on God. And this is the first step of growth as a leader. There is no other way, in my opinion. Somebody's gonna be, there is other way. Sure. What we're trying to say, being vulnerable, acknowledging that yes, we don't have the skill sets, we cannot do it by ourselves. Some say, like we said in the beginning, we're not born with the public speaking, or we're not born with this negotiating or other. You name it, all other the leadership traits. That's fine, because that's probably what God wants you to do, so that you can grow with Him in Him. You're not coming with God with all this. God, I already have this. My level is 7 out of 100. Maybe you can help me equip this. No. God was like, whatever you have, I want you to forget about it, and then just rely on me. And that's the first step of growth.
Yeah, I agree. That was good. Because I feel like makanya Tuhan pilih orang-orang yang bukan yang kayak, the best out of best. Kayak, like for example, David. So then at the end of the day, David knows that whatever he is doing, it's actually from God. Kayak misalnya kita juga orang yang dulunya nggak bisa public speaking, and then we become a cool leader. And the more we lead cool, the more we're maybe fluent in our ways of sharing our facilitate discussions during cool, and then we can think to ourselves, we're like, gila, dulu gue gak kayak gini, kok gue bisa kayak gini? Then that point, you can actually give praise to God. Because I feel like if you firsthand, you udah punya all those you already tick all the boxes, then you won't give the praise to God, because it's like, it's your own doing.
It's very strong.
Exactly.
Coming with the, all the pride and ego, right?
Exactly.
That's probably the very reason, or very, very rational explanations of why all those events in Bible or the examples that we all talk about already has been set up that way.
That was really good. Thank you banget kok udah sharing. Nah, sekarang nih aku punya pertanyaan. So, for example, mungkin pendengar kita nih ada yang baru ditawarin a role to be a leader in church, for example, or maybe outside of church too. Dan mereka mungkin mikir kayak, aduh kayaknya gue nggak bisa nih. Aduh kayaknya gue I'm not ready for this. I don't have the skill set like I just mentioned. So, what would be your advice to them, and what's your 2 cents supaya mereka tuh actually bisa gitu, kayak understand the whole thing that you just tell us basically.
It's a cliche question when it's actually not in an undermining question ya. Maksudnya when I say it's a cliche question itu, I'm not undermining the weight or the magnitude of the questions, because you like it or not, that is the first door that everybody is faced when they're about to do this role or accept or being promoted, right? So my advice would be, not only listen to this episode. What we've discussed from the top to the beginning, there are a lot of hints in there. But if I may sum up, right, you've known that there are a lot of examples in the Bible, and then we are affirming you are not perfect. We are not perfect, and that's not an excuse or reason not to accept the leader. And then we can tell you that the skill sets is not the main thing to be carried with you when you enter the leadership role, because that is something for you to grow with God. That's when you want to give an opportunity together with God. That's what you're gonna get, right, during the process. So that's the second question to ask yourself. And then the third one, you've already checked again in the Bible, find us the challenge earlier, that is there a perfect one? So if you fall on this category then the next step, what you should do, check that you are not in a difficult position that's stopping you to do this role, because there is not an endangering situation you're in, on a life and death situations. if none all of that, what you should do is to pray about it, and you proceed to do the role with a faith in your heart to God. Because while I couldn't give you the straight answer of the advice, but I could give you things for you to check. I could provide you with all the things that you need to consider. And then in maths, that's what we call by deductions, right? If none of this applicable to you, and then none of this actually, so there is, what I'm saying is, means there's no reason for you not to accept the role. Okay, so rather than saying yes to it, I'm telling you, maybe you don't have a perfect reason or good reason for you not to do the role. And we are encouraging you, affirming you that this step is not easy. Okay? And it will be daunting and will be scary. I'm here not discouraging. I'm here being vulnerable. And I'm here telling you a testimony of even my life. And then sometimes having that fear is good to allow God to work in your life. Okay? So we can tell you, if you wanna listen to me or Corey or not, at the end of this episode says, hey, don't worry about it because everything will be okay.
That's a lie.
Oh, that's not gonna happen true. Because that's not true. So that's what we were saying. Take a step, pray. It sounds cliche now, the answers, or pray about it, but you pray after you consider all the important items we discussed, and you pray about it, and then if you give up, like, oh, really, I couldn't find with the rational human thinking any reasons not to accept this role, means you do it.
And rely on God.
Rely on God.
And I feel like when you can't do things, that's when you can ask God, Lord, please help me. Please give me, the ability to do this. And I think that's what makes it beautiful in our Christian journey, because then you're relying so much on God and not on your own strength. So I think that's beautiful. Nah, sekarang kok you are already a leader and you face that, you've been through the process of maybe I'm not ready, and then you start doing some admin work at praise and worship, and then you become a leader yourself. So now in your current state, is there any challenges or any, I guess, fear that you face during your leadership?
Yes. Of course, because this is to reinforce all the points we just discussed, right? It will be a lie and it will be nonsense for me to say no, because that's not what this episode is about. This is about informing all of you, and including me, reminding myself that why I'm here in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Because it was God, and then I came here without the skill sets that I believe at that time I have it, right? It's all about perspective, isn't it? When they reassess themselves, they always reassess against them, right? Nobody assessing themselves. I'm too good actually. Well actually I'm no. So going back to the question, the answer is yes, because even until today I still fear. I am still scared about certain things. No, actually, most of the things, right? In the praise and worship ministry, especially in the music department. Simple example. We're here when this is recorded. We're in Australia, okay? This is in Melbourne. We are here, and then the dynamic of the praise and worship ministry in this church is different to other places, because they have their own sets of challenges, right? One of the main challenge that I would like to talk here, so that I could testify what's the approach and what's my take, and do I still afraid about it? Resources. Let's talk about resources, right? Maybe not just in the praise and worship ministry, right? It's on whatever. Not your, and then you, Corey, your ministries. We all face these resources issues, because people come and go.
Yep.
Okay, people come and go. And when the tuntutan,
Pressure?
when the pressure, that's right. There's going to be subtitle for this, all right? Thanks for the editor, Tim. The pressure for the praise and worship ministry, in order to have the full team every Sunday, it means you always need to have people at church, no matter what happened, because the service must go on, right? Because at the end of the day, it's for congregations. It's immense. Okay, that's the pressure. And then people come and go, meaning I do not have the control, or at least the confident that the number of people gonna be able to sustain every single week. I've always shared with my fellow leader, Chijes. We got Valerie here, right behind the camera. Valerie is doing the helping Chijes on the vocal department, so she knows, and you can check with her whether I'm telling a lie or not, right? About these struggles. We cannot depend, when we become a leader, we cannot depend on the fact that is the goals gonna be perfect? Meaning, is the outcome what I'm doing right now is gonna be perfect? We cannot depend on the questions of, in 3 months time, on in a 1 year time, will I be finished or establish this job perfectly? We should trade it carefully, not carefully, but faithfully with God, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, meaning you rely on God. Do not worry about the future too much that you cannot control. What I'm trying to say in the point of resourcing is, I may have a lot of headache thinking in 6 months time what I'm gonna have. When, as you know, people come and go, and then everybody's going back for good. It's not the problem with the for good itself, but I'm just saying this is the challenges that we have. It's not about the problem that we don't allow these people to go. It's not the main point of this discussion. I'm saying this contributes to the challenge of my resourcing and the weekly schedule to make sure the service runs smoothly. So what I was trying to say, faithfully depending on God by not thinking what the future lies, but knowing that He will help us. Not my motto, but I always tell people when they ask, how do you do this? I remember who I got this from. Shout out to Ko Ben Sutarjo, okay? If you listen to this, I still remember Ko, you told me. And Cialis, okay? Both of you. I'm gonna say it in Indonesia, okay? Maybe I'll try to translate it in English because I received it in Indonesia. That's why I still have a very, very clear memory on what it is. It's a very, very encouraging statements. Kalau memang dibutuhkan, itu Tuhan bakal cukupin. Okay? So, processing English.
So if needed, God will equip.
See, this is why we have both of you here. Very good, right? You know, Corey and Nat. So if if God deems it to be required and needed, it means God will equip it. God will fulfill it. So it's not your task your task is to work around God, work with God, right? Not thinking. So I'm still thankful for that word of wisdom, hikmat yang dikasih sampai aku hari ini. Dan aku still pegang itu. Ya kalau memang dibutuhkan, Tuhan pasti cukupin kok. And guess what? This applies to any aspects of your life as a Christians. We're starting to talk about leadership role, very specific, and present worship ministry. But I'd like to end this sort of word of encouragement that as a Christian, sometimes we lack of faith. If you reflect, we reflect our daily life at work. When you do full-time job, you do your business 9 to 5. You think, oh, what could I do? What can I do? How do I manage these people? How do I send email properly? How do I this? And then only when you're having a problem, then God reminds you, why didn't you ask me from the beginning? Why didn't you rely on me on God? So I'm just saying we need to be more conscious and self-conscious that we need to always put God first and rely on God before you do stuff. You like it or not, especially when you're very, very already... You've been a Christian for a very long time. You forgot about this. We forget that we need to consciously remind ourselves that we need to rely on God. So the challenge of this present worship ministry that I mentioned before, that I just explained to you, a very, very real testimony of my struggles, one of my struggles that has been coming up keep often in this ministry. That's how I do it. Going back to the roots. So no surprise right here, right? So just keep relying on God again and again. Because if God really needs you to be there or those people to be there, God will do it. God will fulfill it. You know, so not that I say I never worried. I worried as a human, but know faithfully that I'm not worried because God will do it.
Amen. That was beautiful.
Wow. Hopefully, today's podcast will encourage a lot of people who are afraid of taking leadership roles, or maybe who are afraid of ministry too, because sometimes, you know, some people, even by ministry, they're afraid.
They're afraid that they might be too busy at work.
Not even leadership, right?
Not even leadership.
So
and hopefully if you guys are still having doubts, by listening to this podcast, you'll feel more encouraged gitu, dan kamu semakin diingatkan gitu kalau Tuhan tuh emang bakal sama kita gitu, dan kita mengerjakan ini semua juga karena Tuhan gitu, and it's all for His glory at the end.
Yes, I agree.
Nah, just to end this podcast nih, Koko mau bisa sharing nggak if you have any resources like favorite song?
Resources, not people.
Sorry. No,
Sure. We just talk about all the resources, but I don't have a lot of resources. But I know what you mean.
You have any favorite songs, favorite books, favorite verses that when that anxiety or when that doubt happens or you feel it, what do you listen to?
You know how whenever people got asked questions, they always say, good questions. I'm telling you, that's just a method of people thinking in their head. What is the answers, right?
To give you some time to think.
To give you something to think. Oh, very good question. Very great question.
Jadi ini barusan ngomong ngelakuin kayak gini.
I'm practicing. Yeah, I know, right? Specifically, maybe for this episodes, right? I'm thinking, I myself acknowledging that I wasn't brought up in a family that is a very good reader. All right, so I do not read a lot of books. I can still use my fingers to count the books that I finished. It's not more than 3, and some of them are textbooks from school. Right? But if you ask me for these episodes, what we should have a reference to in terms of resourcing our leaderships, I'll say read a Bible. That's a book at the end of the day. What we just explained, it's in there. It's a lot of examples. Read it until you find what we just challenge you, right? And maybe if there is, then you come to us and let us know. But otherwise, then take that step, be a leader, right? All right. So Bible has a lot of munitions, nutritions, and then all the resources that you need for leader. At the end of the day, Jesus was is and still a leader, right?
Yeah, he is.
It's ultimate. Funny how every time we talk about this example from Bible, we refer to everybody else's but Jesus, right? Because we feel like Jesus is God, but then Jesus is also
a great example,
a figure, right? That you read your Bible and you'll find a lot of resources in the Bible explains to you about leaderships. And then what we just gave you or discussing today, give you a pointers to look at when you read it. You know, this is what it means when Moses didn't have the skill sets. So I'm in that position too. Relatable, bro. Or
okay, bro.
Yeah, all right, bro. Now you should feel that after you listen to this episode, rather than see, even Moses didn't have it. I didn't have it too. So I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
We just want to change perspective here, because deep down we all already know the answers. Deep down we already know the informations, right? It's just about sometimes change of mindset, change of perspective, and how we see Bible and read the Bible and understanding it, right?
Yeah.
So you'll find a lot of important topic and important elements in the Bible regarding leadership. Start with what we just discussed: Moses, Paul, Jeremy.
Yep.
Jeremiah. Is it Jeremy or Jeremiah?
Jeremiah.
Jeremy is the... Shout out, Jeremy. You're not a Jeremiah, but you are a Jeremy. But what I just tried to say was a Jeremiah.
Yeah.
What else? I actually wrote a lot of examples here. Gideon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He was,
So, that's the book. Sorry to disappoint you that it's a Bible.
No, but it's... we
but
have
good.
to.
Yeah, the Bible is the
Yeah.
source of truth. Where, I mean, kita bisa punya kayak bacaan lain yang kita suka, but then the point and the source of truth is still Bible.
So it is a little bit. I feel a little bit more underwhelmed because I know, right? The main question is really about the book that is done by a writer.
That's okay.
In this world, or a
okay.
song that is wrote. But I give you this because I tell you, I'm being vulnerable that I'm not an avid reader and I don't read a lot of books. So
And that's
there are
okay.
some.
And that's okay, yes.
Yeah. But you know what? Since we're in a different generation now, I'll give you a cheat code.
Yeah.
If you look at some books and it might, entice you, or you're like, oh, I really want to read this, but I'm not a reader, just open ChatGPT and say, please summarize this book for me.
Oh.
Bam.
That's very good, right? So maybe I thought you were gonna say there is audio book.
I was gonna say
This is actually even next level. All right.
The world is changing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Because the world is changing so much, that's why we need the Bible that never changed.
Oh, wait, Corey.
Okay.
Editor, shout out to Corey. Okay. And then you know what? Because ChatGPT, can they actually read it to me, speak aloud? Can they do that?
I don't know.
So that's
I think
even better,
so.
right? And then you got some summary, and then they'll read it for you.
Wow.
It becomes audiobook. Oh yeah, all right. I'll do that. So it's very interesting.
And then we'll do another episode, and then you can have
yeah. So for editors and for the listeners at home or viewers, you feel like, oh my god, this interviewee just talks a lot. Put it on the ChatGPT, summarize it, and you'll get it. All right, because they are smart. Okay, so that's what you'll do. Okay, if you feel like too many stuffs here.
Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Ko, for coming into the studio with us.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom as well. We learned so much, dan benar-benar aku ngerasa kita semua juga diberkati dengan sharing-sharing Koko. And yeah, well, for listeners, thank you so much for tuning in into this episode. And I forgot to say this at the first of the episode. Actually, we are recording this live. Maybe not live, it's just recorded, and then it will be uploaded into YouTube. So please check out our YouTube channel at cultivated.podcast. And you can see our real face and what Ko Edo is wearing right now and how he looks like. So please stay tuned to our future episodes. We're gonna there's a lot of segments. We're gonna talk about Q&A session. There will be deeply rooted segment as well, where we're gonna dive deep on a sermon. So stay tuned our next episodes, and I'll see you guys again in the next episodes. Bye.